Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wayward Dragons review episode. Um, an episode that's aside from our regular podcast where we just kind of talk about things, shoot the shit, talk about what we've been reading, watching, any games we've been playing. I think that sums up what we do here.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. We're just two nerds that, sit and ramble about stuff. If you're new here on this episode, and then on a regular episode, we talk about different topics. Currently, we're in the midst of reviewing stuff from the Satanic Panic.
Yes. It's a lot.
It is. It's kind of an interest of both of ours. We have, separate interests that have a few overlaps. Our typical overlaps really are just like things that are kind of macabre, weird, and things of the occult nature. Theology, philosophy, witchcraft practices like that, cults, etc., etc.
Yes.
So, yep. How you been doing, Kels?
I am tired. This has been a long week. It's been a long week. When it starts to warm up where I'm at, my other job becomes super exhausting. And we've had some warm temperatures this week. So I'm tired. I'm tired.
Understandable.
And I'm not looking forward to this next week. It's going to be just as busy, if not more. And I'm tired. I'm ready. I'm ready for this to be my only job. Like my second job. I'm ready. Like I am so tired.
For a second, I thought you were gonna say you were ready for fall, and I'm like, it just turned spring.
I'm ready for fall for a lot of reasons. I'm so tired. Like,
well, I got wedding planning and everything.
Oh,
you've got a lot going on.
I went dress shopping with my mom. A dress for her, not me, yesterday. So that was kind of a long day for me because I had a migraine all day too. So it's just like, oh my god. So, but yeah, just tired, just with everything going on. So we're getting closer to the wedding. So it's a lot of scrambling to kind of sort stuff out and all that jazz. So start mailing invitations, and there's a couple final things that we have to do. Getting close. How are you?
I'm okay. Kind of tired as well, but that's just my life. I think that's the life of most millennials, unless you were born into money and your parents pay for everything, and you don't have to have any accountability for yourself or for what you have to do. It's unfortunately the world we currently live in, and the world that, unless major changes happen, we're going to continue to live in until everything falls apart, and then we'll have to rebuild.
Yeah, which that's not going to be fun.
But I mean, it'll have its pros and cons, just like everything.
Just like everything else, for sure.
Yeah, and
for sure. For sure.
So, have you been doing any reading or watching TV, playing video games, watching movies, burning down the village? What did you do?
I read one book. I've kind of because I kind of feel overwhelmed in my life right now. That's one of the reasons why I'm tired, is I just kind of feel overwhelmed with everything. So it's mentally draining. I listened to Unmask Alice. by Rick Emerson. So have you heard of this book?
I
Unmask Alice?
believe so.
So
it doesn't ring a bell.
The full title is Unmask Alice, LSD, Satanic Panic, and the Imposter Behind the World's Most Notorious Dairies. So I read this in relation to our mini-series that we've got going on, and our next episode of the Satanic Panic of media representation. This, I feel like it's gonna play into this. Have you heard of the book Go Ask Alice? Have you heard of that book?
Not. Is it anything like Michelle Remembers?
It is the book that sparks Michelle Remembers. So,
okay.
So this woman named Beatrice Sparks, she is the writer, well, loosely quoting quotations writer of Go Ask Alice and Jay's Journal, plus a couple of other books that are related to, that are similar to those. So the book Unmask Alice kind of goes behind the scenes of Go Ask Alice. So
okay, so I just pulled it up on Goodreads. Apparently you can get it on Kindle for $9. But little snippet about the author. Beatrice Sparks was an American therapist and Mormon youth counselor who was known for producing books. What?
So you have to, that's part of the Go Unmask Alice, is he kind of decodes her life. She's a liar. She says she has all these degrees, but if you go back, you can't find her ever attending the colleges. So she makes up all these degrees saying that she's a child therapist and psychologist and psychiatrist and all these other things. And she says that she finds these diaries, and if you read them, like if you read Go Ask Alice, it's about a teenage girl. She's about 14 or 15, and you have to remember that when these books were written, LSD was coming out and the experiments on people were starting to happen with the government and all that stuff. So LSD's a I forget the term, but it fucks with your brain. And thank you, honey. Hallucinogen. And so in Go Ask Alice, you never really find out her name, but everyone calls her Alice. Her spiral starts by her taking LSD, and it kind of transforms her life type thing. But then she starts doing like heroin and the cocaine, and then she starts smoking marijuana, which normally those things happen out of order, and in the book they happen too fast. Like it's one right after the other. And at the end of the book, you find out that Alice commits suicide. And it's a whole bunch of fucked up. Like, you never know if the girl's real, because like in the Library of Congress, it's both in the nonfiction and fiction section. It's in both.
Well, just Goodreads has real diaries.
Yeah.
In quotation marks.
Yeah.
The books deal with topical issues such as drug abuse, Satanism, teenage pregnancy, or AIDS.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. If you look at this lady, she looks like a crazy person.
Yeah. So you never really find out if Go Ask Alice is real, but the second book that she writes, Jay's Journal, so that is loosely based off of a young man's actual diary. So around this time that this young man is obviously going through life and he's struggling, he's in Mormonism and stuff like that, and he's struggling. He obviously has a journal and he commits suicide. He shoots himself, and his siblings find his journal, and then after the funeral they give the journal to his mom. And Go Ask Alice at this point had been out for a while, so the mom contacts Beatrice and was like, hey, I think you could do something with my son's diary like you did with Go Ask Alice. Unbeknownst to the mom, she like completely takes everything in his journal out of context, and it becomes this Satanist, drug-induced, weird diary with sacrifices and all this stuff. And Beatrice like models like what's happening in the world, and she just kind of takes it and like fuels it. And Go Ask Alice in Jay's journal is what sparks Michelle Remembers in Canada.
Huh.
So the Unmask Alice is Rick Emerson goes on this journey of finding out, one, who Beatrice is, and you find that she's like, she claims she's a PhD, but you find out that she's the college that she attended, she said she attended, she's never been registered as a student. And depending on where she's at in the country, she says she's a student of like UCLA or Utah. Like she's constantly lying, and it's very interesting to kind of listen to kind of how the Satanic Panic kind of started. This one woman like fueled the whole thing in a way, like just caused so much damage, and especially to the family behind Jay's journal. She did so much destruction to that family. It's
but for all of our theology listeners, theology nerds, Beatrice Sparks apparently attended Brigham Young University, and if you know anything about that university, that should say all that you need to know about this lady.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what I read. And then it was just like, I've kind of hit a point where I kind of just want to listen to true crime, and I'm like caught up on all my podcasts. So I was just like, well, I've always wanted to listen to this, and we're doing Satanic Panic, and I'm listening to it, and completely blew my mind, because I've seen Go Ask Alice. I've seen it at like the secondhand bookstores and stuff that I go to, and to just kind of listen to how this one woman sparked so much panic in people, and it's not even true.
One of the reviews is hilarious. Like the first review that comes up on the book on Goodreads. Basically, the girl breaks down the plot. The lady who wrote this breaks down the plot of the book. Bulletin 1. I'm a good girl. 2. I'm going to a party with boys. Ha ha. Bulletin 3. I'll have a beer. Bulletin 4. I might as well try a joint. Bulletin 5. Cocaine is awesome. What a fun double fun night. Bulletin 6. LSD, San Francisco, rape, LSD, I'm hungry. Bulletin 7, Mom, Dad, take me back. Bulletin 8, relapse. Bulletin 9, I'm never doing drugs again. Bulletin 10, the subject of this book died 3 weeks after her decision.
Yeah. And like, you never, she claims that like she was the therapist of this child, and like she gets the diary like after the child passes, like the parent gives her the diary, and I'm just like, and I'm like, in my head I'm like, okay, so when did doctor-patient confidentiality start? Like, because if you're this person's therapist, I'm pretty positive you can't tell what happened, like tell what happened in the sessions and stuff about your own patient.
I mean, it depends. I mean, there's clinicals that you could do that you can read.
Yeah,
that kind of goes into,
but
what people have going on.
The book doesn't, like, that's one of the things that Rick Emerson talks about. He's like, the book just doesn't make any sense, like, at all. And she writes so like fluffy, like there's more descriptives than there needs to be, and they're like very run on, and it's just, yeah, it's a fantastic book to read because he kind of just he breaks down the whole LSD thing and how that kind of scares parents, and then she just kind of takes all that stuff and just fuels this whole satanic panic shit that starts to happen. Because if you go on Wikipedia says that the satanic panic started because of the release of the book Michelle Remembers. And Rick goes into detail about how Michelle Remembers was because of Go Ask Alice. So it's interesting. That is what I read. I'm currently reading a book about the murders associated with Slenderman. So,
oh yeah,
yeah, about the two girls. It deals heavily into mental health, and specifically schizophrenia, because one of the girls that is convicted of attempted murder. Her father has schizophrenia, and unbeknownst to them, even though she's like giving all of the signs at a very young age of like, hey, I have this, they don't believe her. And eventually she becomes friends with the not so very good person and becomes hyper fixed on Slenderman. And for those who don't know, Slenderman is a creepypasta that emerged in the 2000s, when creepypasta was starting to come around. So that's been kind of eye-opening. I never knew that there was a murder one associated with Slenderman. I just always thought, kids were just weird. But
oh no, that's what got a lot of it. Like that's what brought it into the main media light.
But to hear this poor girl kind of like, she's giving all these warning signs, like she's going off like flashers, and her parents are just kind of like, she's a kid. It's like guys, she gave all the warning signs, and you need to believe your kid. Like if your kid is showing some severe mental health signs, you need to believe your kid. And a lot of this could have been prevented if they would have just believed their daughter and told her and been open and honest, because her father was unmedicated. He didn't like how the medication made him feel, which is valid. But that's an open conversation that he needed to have with his daughter about that. So that's been very eye-opening. And this little girl just preyed on her, and that book is not for the faint of heart. I found it on Audible. It's, if you go through, so when you're on Goodreads, it's like recommended, like books that are like this, or people who've read this book have also read this. And I was scrolling through those to find my next read, and I found that one because the one I wanted to read about the Satanic Panic, Believe the Children, it's only as a ebook. There is no audiobook for that.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's no audiobook for it. So I decided on Slenderman, and that's been an eye-opening book. Both of them are, but yeah, our mental health mental health is not taken very seriously here in the States, and it really needs to, because that poor girl, that poor little girl, Morgan, is what her name is in the book. I feel so bad for her. But what did you read?
So I don't know how to read. What are you talking about?
What?
I just make this up as I go. No, so I read another book series. It was the the Dungeon Crafter series, which there's 6 of them by Jonathan Brooks, and they're lit RPG books. They're fun, weird, strange books. The best way I can say this, if any of our listeners are anime fans, is it's basically that one time I got reincarnated as a slime, but as a dungeon book. So basically, this technically, well, let's say young lady, because I don't remember her exact age when she died, but she died. She gets reincarnated as a dungeon core, which, as I said before, is like this entity that oversees and expands dungeons, and she works to bring peace to different cultures that hate each other or that have issues with each other. And then is challenged by another core who happened to be someone she knew from her past, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil stuff, but it kind of links in with the last 2 book series that I read. The next book series I plan on doing links into it as well, and then the author actually did a book series that ties all 4 of those series together, even though they take place on different worlds. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how he's done that, but I will find out once I finish the book series, I guess. I did, however, meet my goal.
You did
52 books for the year, and we're only 20 weeks into the year, so we have another 32 weeks.
Yeah.
So I have upped my target to 72. So let's see if I can get to that. And then depending on when I get to that, will determine if I increase it again or not, and by how much.
Okay.
But no, it's overall fun series. It's lit RPG, so those are fun. But yeah, so that's what I've been reading. I don't really think I've watched anything spectacular.
Like we haven't.
I watched this really dumb comedy show on Netflix called Mulligan, and it was a dumb comedy series, but it was entertaining. The premise is that there's a guy. Well, first off, it's an adult cartoon, for clarification here before I go into too much detail. It is a show about aliens coming to Earth, killing most everyone until this one guy takes it with a hand grenade, blows up the mothership, which causes all the other ships to blow up and crash. And all civilization pretty much is wiped out. with the exception of a small group of people in Washington, D.C. Most of the politicians are dead.
Okay.
So there's a plus.
I was like, that sounds like a good plus.
But it's like just shy of 1,200 people surviving.
Okay.
And like everyone else is wiped out. And they're like, hey, let's do a census and figure out who's still alive. And then they find out that the population is now approximately 70% women.
Oh.
So, but there's like all sorts of dumb jokes and references in it. Of course, with any adult cartoon, the main character or the leading male character is a complete idiot because that's the trope they perpetuate on everything.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, the majority of the people in that show are complete idiots, with the exception of the two scientists.
Okay.
And the one evil politician that, I guess only one was a scientist, the other one's a historian, and the evil politician that survives.
Well, you said all of them died.
Well, I said most politicians died.
My bad. I misheard.
Yeah. You're good.
My bad.
Most politicians died. And this guy's like Speaker of the House because he's the only like politician that survived, and so he's just like, all against, nobody, all opposed, or all for, nobody. All right, I guess I'm breaking the tie. And it's like one of them. He's literally sitting there, and he's like, all right, all the ayes. All right, all the nays. Okay, it looks like a tie. I guess I'm breaking it. And he hits the gavel, and he goes, it's now official. The right to own a gun begins at birth, or begins at conception. And it's like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, no. So it's, like I said, it's dumb comedy.
That's crazy. That's funny, and sounds mildly entertaining.
I guess that's it, really.
I was like, yeah,
I've been working so much and dealing with other people's issues and assisting with dealing with crazy stuff. I don't know. I don't really have anything.
Neither do I. That's the only book I read. I managed to read. So, yeah, I think that. Huh?
I would say, and as time goes on, it's going to be less and less for me to be able to watch because work's getting crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, and it is with you, so I don't know. I guess that's all we have for our review episode.
Yeah. Please join us for our main episodes. We are doing a mini series on the Satanic Panic right now. We just got done talking about cults that kind of rose up during that time and became super famous for very horrible things that they did to people. And the next episode will be about I think we decided on media representation. Yeah, and how that's kind of changed over the years. So, because of Stranger Things and all those other shows, kind of like that just came out with like the new Sabrina and stuff like that. So,
which Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I'll say this: that show was pretty freaking good, but don't go into it expecting like the, 90s Sabrina series. It is very different.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a little bit of teen drama in it because drama sells.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was a pretty good series.
My brother said the same thing. He said it was really good.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
Yeah, he said the same thing. Don't go into it thinking it's so. They did a good bit of
research.
Yeah,
they did a good bit of research on like the Christian mythos or the Abrahamic mythos and all of that, and I was thoroughly pleased. And then they had like some, pagan practices mixed in, and they specifically pointed out like, they didn't have stuff that was just like, oh hey, this is I mean, there was a few things, but they weren't like, this is a satanic practice. It was like, no, this is a witch practice. And there were certain things that they were like, this is a practice of this goddess, and this is where some of us used to get our power from, or this is where some of us get our power from. So it was very interesting how they did it.
Okay.
Like there's a whole scene, not to be spoilery, but well, you know what? It's been out. The series has been over for like 2 years now. So if it's a spoiler for you, I'm sorry. You had plenty of time to watch it before now. But there's a scene where they're literally praying to Hecate, I believe it was, one ancient goddess, for power, because they basically said screw you to the devil and the Dark Lord, and they're like, we're not serving you anymore. We're getting our power back the way we used to have our power.
Okay.
So it was like a very much like a reclaiming thing. It was pretty cool. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, join us for our normal episodes. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We are on most podcasting platforms. So yeah, please tell a friend. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you have a book recommendation or a topic recommendation, you can email us at thewaywardragons@gmail.com. So yeah, until next time.
I'm Johnny. I don't think I ever said that.
No, we didn't.
Oh well. Well, that's me. I'm the guy.
It's like an Aunt Kelsey.
Deep masculine voice. Not really that deep. I don't know. Anyways, that's our show. So you can click on the little thing to end the episode, or click to the next episode, or whatever you do on whatever platform you're using.
Yeah. It's like, bye.
Bye.